Very good morning, class 8. Here is Kaushalya, your English teacher, and I hope you all are doing well. We have already started chapter 2, Planning a Surprise, written by Louisa May Alcott, right? So let us open our books and continue the chapter, right? So we have seen that there are four sisters, right? And they are planning to give a surprise gift to their mother, right? After that, we saw that how the mother, right? She is a noble lady and she cares for her daughter, right? So we have discussed everything. Now let us see what happened next, right? So mother has opened the letter. The letter is from father, right? So everyone is sitting near mother, right? As you can see in the picture, right? So Joe was leaning on the back where no one would see any sign of emotion if the letter should happen to be touchy, right? So Joe was leaning at the back of her mother so that no one can notice if whether if she's sad, if the letter was touchy, if the letter was emotional, especially those which father sent home. In this one, little was said of the hardship and endured dangers faced or homesickness conquered, right? So mostly the letter which was sent by their father were very emotional, right? So Joe didn't wanted anyone to see her emotions, but in this letter there were nothing told about the hardship he was enduring. Now enduring, that is suffering without complaining, right? So whatever hardships, whatever problems he was facing, right, at the war, right, at the place of war, that was not discussed here. What the dangers which he faced, that even that was not discussed. And the homesickness, now homesickness is something that when we miss our home, right, when we are far away and when we are missing our home, so he has controlled that also, but he had not mentioned any of these things. So let us see what he have written in the letter. It was a cheerful, hopeful letter full of lively description of the camp life, marches, military, you can say military news, and only at the end did the writer heart overflow with the fatherly love and longing for the little girls at home, right? So it was a cheerful letter, right? He discussed about the marches, his camp life, right, the military news, everything, but at the end, right, the fatherly love, right, it was overflowed, and the longing, that is missing the missing of her daughters, right, that was written or that was shown in the letter through his words, right? So let us see exactly what he has written. Give them all my dear love and a kiss, right? So he wanted to express love for his daughters, so he told in a letter that please give love to my daughters. Tell them I think of them by day, pray for them by night, and find my best comfort in their affection at all times. So the father was telling that he missed her daughters, right? He missed them day and night. He never forgot about them. A year seems very long to wait before I see them. So he also mentioned the time he would be taking to come back. It is nearly a year and it is a very, very long time. But remind them that while we wait, we may all work so that these hard days need not to be wasted. But he wanted also to remind the girls that they need to work hard. They need to work, right, for their progress, for their growth, and not to waste time. So that I know they will remember all that I said to them, that they will be loving children to you, will do their duty faithfully, fight their bosom enemies bravely, and conquer themselves so beautifully that when I come back to them, I may be fonder and prouder, right? So what he's saying, that I want my daughters to work hard for their growth, so when I meet after 1 year, right, I will be more prouder, that, right? He wants them to conquer the bosom enemies. Now what are bosom enemies, right? See, we all try to behave very properly, right, in front of others, but when we get angry, right, or when we are hurt, right, then what happens? The character, right, some of the bad things in our character, they are overflowed, right? We start thinking negatively, right? So the father wants them to control those traits, right? Those you can say those weak points in our life and become a stronger person. Everybody sniffed when they came to that part, right? And everybody was emotional, right? At that part. Joe wasn't ashamed of great tear that dropped off the end of her nose, right? So it is obvious, right? The father is far away and he has written a very emotional letter. He told the daughters that he missed them day and night, and even he wants them to work harder for their growth. So they all of the girls become emotional, and Joe was not ashamed to show the tear which went, right, because it was really emotional letter. She started missing her dad. Amy never minded rumbling of her curls as she did as hide her face on mother's shoulder and sobbed out. Now sobbed out. Amy also was not ashamed of showing her emotion and she sobbed out. So she was crying. And when we talk while crying, that is sobbed out. So she was crying and she was telling, I'm a selfish girl, but I will truly try to be better. So he may not be disappointed in me by and by, that is in future, right? So Amy is the youngest one, right? So what she said that I'm very selfish girl, but now as my father wants me to be responsible, I will be working hard, and in future he will be not ashamed of me. We all will, cried Meg. I think too much of my looks and hate to work, but won't anymore if I can help it, right? So even Meg tells that she will be also responsible. She cares a lot about how she looks, right? And works less, right? So she tells that I'll be working hard. I'll try and be what he loves to call me, a little woman, and not be rough and wild, but do my duty here instead of wanting to be somewhere else. And even Joe said that she will be behaving responsibly, right? She will become what her father wants her to be, right? And she will be not thinking of somewhere to be at somewhere else, right? She will be living in her present and trying every day to grow herself, said Joe, thinking that keeping her temper at home was much harder task than facing a rebel or two down the south. And she was thinking in her mind, right? Joe said that I'll be not that rough, but it was really difficult task to, you can say, to control her temper at home because of her sisters, right? So she was thinking that it is really a difficult task. Beth said nothing but wiped away her tears with the blue army socks and began to knit with all her might, losing no time in doing the duty that lay nearest her, while she resolved in her quiet little soul to be all that father hoped to find her when the year brought round the happy coming home, right? So now Beth didn't say anything, but in her mind, in her soul, she had already resolved that she will become whatever her father wants her to be, right? So all the four girls are emotional here, and they promise themselves that they will be responsible and they will be doing whatever their father wants them to do. And as we see after reading the letter, all of them were emotional and response, and they thought that they will be more responsible, right? Because when they meet their father after 1 year, he should be proud of them. And now at 9 they stopped work and sang as usual before they went to bed, and they worked till 9 and then they sang as they did it usually, and then they went to bed. No one but Beth could get much music out of the old piano, and she had a way of softly touching the yellow keys and making a pleasant accompaniment to the simple songs they sang, right? So Beth was very good in playing piano, so she played piano and everyone sang, as you can see in the picture. Meg had a voice like a flute, and she and her mother led the little choir, right? So had a beautiful voice, so mother and Meg sang a beautiful choir. Amy chirped like a cricket and Joe wandered through the airs at her own sweet will, right? So Joe was just wandering, right, because she was not able to sing properly, Amy was just adding some grip to it because she was also not good at singing. Mother and Meg were singing the choir, and sorry, mother and the Beth was playing the piano. Now, let us see what happened. Their mother was a born singer, and first sound in the morning was her voice as she went down the house singing like a lark. And the last sound at the night was the same cheery sound. For the girls never grew too old for that familiar lullaby, right? Now, lullaby is, you can say, lori, right? That we sing for little children, right? So their mother was it was a born singer. She had very sweet voice, right? She has very sweet voice. So at the morning, the girls would wake up hearing her voice, and at the night also, once her choir was finished, they would get to bed, right? So this is a beautiful story about the family bonding, how strongly this girl and mother behave, right? And they how do they control their emotions, and they promise themselves to act responsibly. That is what is taught in this lesson, right? So I hope you have understood the lesson. Please read the lesson one more time so that you can understand it properly. Okay, now let us see what we learn from this chapter, right? So, first thing is our family is our strength, right? So, our family is our real strength. Second one is every member of family must act responsibly, right? It is not only the duty of a father or mother, right, to, you can say, work in a family or to be responsible, right? But each and every member of the family, from the oldest to youngest, they should be acting responsibly to make a family strong. And the third one is we should take care of our parents, right? Like the girls do, right? The father is far away and the girls take care of their mother, right? So we should be taking care of our parents. That is our foremost duty, right? So this is what we learn in this chapter, right? I hope you have understood it. Have a nice day. Thank you.